You just can't get every whiskey, so here's the top 5 bottles I missed out on in 2024. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So the premise of this video is to walk you guys through what I was not able to get in 2024. Even though I'm a whiskey tuber and I have this great joy and passion for this hobby of collecting whiskey, there are ultimately many bottles that I'm not able to get my hands on. But I do want to preface this whole video by saying I have been extremely fortunate. Like, this year in 2024 has been an amazing year. By far my best year collecting whiskey. I feel like I've really got my feet under me. I've been doing this for about 4 years now. And so it feels like this year was really the fruit of learning the ropes over the last couple of years. So I've gotten amazing bottles. Russell's 15, Old Fitz 13 year, Four Roses limited edition. Some bottles that honestly a year and a half, 2 years ago would have felt impossible to ever get. So I'm extremely grateful. And I know that this video can come off like, oh, you didn't get some super highly allocated special bottles from the year. None of us did. Why are you complaining? So I don't mean it to be that. I do mean it to be an interesting study in which bottles kind of hit my market, which ones I'm able to track down via effort and time, and which ones just I wasn't able to grab. And I would love to hear in the comments below from you guys, what were the bottles you were really hoping to get that maybe you didn't get the chance to grab this year? And let's talk about that, because I think it's interesting. Maybe a little bit of lamenting is due here in the whiskey world, where it is really difficult to find the bottles that you want. So that's just to preface the whole video, but let's dive into the list. These are the top 5. So again, there were a lot of bottles I didn't get, but these are the top 5 that I was really looking forward to, or trying to grab, looking out for, but maybe even didn't see and certainly didn't get a chance to buy. Okay, so number 1 on my list, it's really a category or a whole brand, and that is Jack Daniel's. Their limited stuff, the 10-year, the 12-year, Coy Hill, any of their like special barrel releases, I basically didn't see any of it this year. And these are ones that I have on my radar. I'm constantly trying to see if even like a 10 or 12 year is dropping near me and I could get a chance. Coy Hill is one that's kind of a unicorn for me. Like, I'd love to try that, love to own a bottle of that kind of hazmat level stuff. But Jack Daniel's, one of my more favorite brands, especially the single barrel proof bourbon and rye. I didn't see any of their limited stuff this year. Okay, number 2 is kind of an interesting oddball one, which is Redwood Empire Devil's Tower High Rye Bourbon. So Redwood Empire released a good number of different offerings this year. I think there was like the Foggy Burl single malt, Titan something. There's been a couple of different releases. This was the particular one I had my eye on, the High Rye Bourbon. And unfortunately, it was the only one I did not see. I saw the others, and for $90, just knowing those profiles from Redwood Empire and what I already have from them wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I was hoping this High Rye Bourbon would be closer to the Lost Monarch, which is the blend of their bourbon and rye, and get me kind of a new experience with that. So that was the one I was looking for, but that was the only one I didn't see, unfortunately. Okay, so bottle number 3 for me. This is one that I've had on my most anticipated want to get lists for quite some time, and that is Midwinter Nights Dram Act 12. So I think since about Act 9, I've been looking for a Midwinter's Nights Dram to add to my collection. I feel like I don't really know that much about High West in general and haven't really dived into their stuff. So I'd love to get something limited and some of their best whiskey and try it. Unfortunately, what I've heard about the brand is that it's a little up and down, and especially when they used to source from MGP, those original acts might have been really, really solid. Very, very special, worth that price. Now that's kind of hit or miss as to whether it's worth, I think it's like $150 now. So that is worth considering. Yet, if I saw one for around MSRP, I think I would grab it because I've been looking for so long. really hoping that like maybe this still hits my market just a little bit later. Checking Costco especially, like if I could see it for like 130, it'd be a no-brainer. So maybe there's still hope, but alas, one of my big ones to try to get, did not see. Okay, so number 4 for me is a really brand that I've come to love so much, an expression of theirs that I've never been able to own, and that is Michter's Barrel Strength Rye. So if you've been following the channel for any amount of time, you may know that Michter's 10-year-old rye is some of my favorite whiskey I've ever tasted. At the Bardstown Bourbon Festival this year, which I was fortunate enough to go to, I tasted the Barrel Strength Rye. Okay, I tasted it at least 7 times, went back to the Michter's booth because honestly, I think it was the best thing, at least for my profile, that I tasted at the entire festival. And that's saying something. So I really want to own a bottle of the Barrel Strength Rye. I do think that Michter's, whatever they're sourcing for that rye, it's just right up my alley, and having it at barrel strength, it just turns up the whole experience. So count me in to be looking for that one for quite a long time until I get a bottle, but it is spectacular whiskey and I want to own one. Just did not get the chance to buy one this year. Didn't even really see it, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay, and then number 5. This one, I think, may ruffle some feathers, but I wanted to just highlight those unicorn ones. So I put down BAC and or King of Kentucky. These were really the 2 subsets. Any BAC I would have loved to have grabbed, not only for the channel, I feel like it would be really cool to be able to compare something of that level of prestige to everything else that I have. And then King of Kentucky is a similar story, like that level of prestige versus everything else. But also, I just want to be able to own and taste that whiskey and share it. So BAC, King of Kentucky, I was kind of like, if I see either one of those this year, that's going to be my big kahuna. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to hunt for it. I've gone to different lotteries. I've gone to different events where those were available, and just, I mean, waking up at 4 a.m. to try to be there, and it just hasn't panned out. I've gotten some other nice bottles out of those experiences, just never the big kahuna. I'm sure many of you can relate to that because these are definitely the hardest to find on my entire list. All right, so those are my top 5. Those are the ones that, out of all the whiskey out there this year that I was hoping to see and potentially grab, it just didn't pan out. But again, I had a fantastic year and I really cannot complain, and I'm very grateful. So would love to know in the comments below, what did you miss out on this year that you were hoping to grab? Would really like to start a discussion on that. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the Bourbon Hutch. We're kind of wrapping up 2024 here, launching hopefully with a lot of momentum into 2025. I would love to have you aboard for the journey through the next year and just see how this journey through the world of whiskey progresses. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a happy, healthy, safe new year. Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.